President's Trophy winners. Welcome back, guys, and today I talked about home ice yesterday and how much that matters. Today we're going to talk about the President's Trophy, which I'm pretty sure we can all be certain that it does not matter whatsoever. So, luckily for me, being born in during the lockout, I have a pretty easy place to start from when I talk about for most of my videos of recency. From 2005-06 on to 2022-23, which will be starting in October. So, I start with 2006 with the President's Trophy winner there. We're going to go down the list, and we're going to talk about how the teams did the year before they won, the year they did won, and the year after they won in the playoffs. And let's be honest, playoffs is what really matters the most. 2006, the Detroit Red Wings win the President's Trophy. The year prior was a lockout, so it's not applicable, so you can't really judge that. They lose in the first round that year to the Edmonton Oilers in 6 games, and then in 2007, the next year, they lose to the Anaheim Ducks in 6 games, and Anaheim was on their way to a cup. But as you see, 2006, Detroit were heavy favorites. That was the year where they had Legacy in net, I'm pretty sure. Pretty good team all around, pretty dominant team as the Red Wings of 94 to 2009 were. And so yeah, Detroit doesn't get a cup in that section, but would it be that time? So 2007, Buffalo Sabres win the President's Trophy. They lost in the third round the previous year to the Carolina Hurricanes in 7 games. Excellent series that was. And then they lose in the second round to the Ottawa Senators in 2007. And then in 2008 they missed the playoffs completely. And they had a brief 2 year before they made the playoffs again in 2010 and 2011. Before this, they're huge, nearly going to be probably 13, 14 years before they come out of it, no playoff slump. But yeah, they completely just fall off the board and miss the playoffs. And it's interesting how that happens. And 2008, let me use the magnet here, Detroit wins it again. As previously, they lost in 2007 in the third round to the Anaheim Ducks in 6 games. 2008, they are one of 2 teams on this board to win the Cup. They win the Stanley Cup that year, and then in 2009, they go to the final. So this is probably the best. This is probably the best on this board of just if I was making a point category. Let's say it was 5 for the Cup, 4 for a final, 3 for a third, and just combining all of the points system. Detroit would be number 1, and it's not even really close, I don't think. Cup in 2 seconds, that's pretty close. Final in 2 seconds. First Cup, third, and 2009 with one of the biggest chokes, along with the 2006 Red Wings, another one of the big chokes. San Jose had lost in the second round in 2008. They had lost to the Dallas Stars in that 4 overtime game where Brendan Morrow won it, and then in that second overtime, Evgeny Nabokov made what could be the save of the century. But they lose that series in 6 games. 2009, they're playing Anaheim in the first round, and they're the first seed. They lose in 6. Amazing choke. And that was pretty much it. And then the next year in 2010, they go to the third round where they lose to Chicago, who was on their way to a cup in 4 games. I almost said 4 straight. And now 2010, another huge choke. There's a lot of chokes with President's Trophies. 2010 Capitals, they lose in the second round in 2009 to Pittsburgh in 7 games. They lose in the first round after going up 3-1 against the Montreal Canadiens in 2010. Then Yaroslav Halak, his legend, started, and Montreal wins 3 straight. Washington chokes again. And then in 2011, they lose in the second round. I believe they were swept by Tampa, if I can recall correctly. But yeah, Washington, is it the first time they show up here? 2011, it's Vancouver. They lost in the second round to Chicago. In 2010 and in 2011, they nearly lost to Chicago, getting into what if tomorrow. I was gonna do what if today, but the years, I'm still just debating on how I'm gonna split it up. But once I'm done figuring that out, it'll be up. I'll probably upload the first episode of What If Overtime Edition tomorrow. So make sure to check that out tomorrow. But yeah, they go to the final where they lose against Boston in 7, where they lay a huge egg in Game 3 and in Game 7. And then in 2012, they lose in the first round, in which they also win the President's Trophy, as we'll go down here. And so yeah, Vancouver, they go to the final in 2011, lose to Boston. They lose in the first round. They were down 3-0 to the LA Kings. They win Game 4, but then LA cleans them up in Game 5. LA on their way to a cup. How many of these teams were knocked out by cup winners so far? No. They won the cup. No. They won the cup. Sorry about that. Anyway, so yeah, Canucks, they lose in the first round to the Kings in 5, and then the next year in 2013, they lose to the Sharks in 4 in a sweep. And yeah, 2013, we have Chicago, the only other team on here that's won the cup, while winning the President's Trophy in the salary cap era. In 2012, they lost in the first round to Phoenix in a crazy series in 6. That series is up on this channel. Then they win the cup in 2013. They beat Boston in the final in 6, 17 seconds, the whole shebang. And then in 2014, they lose in the third round to the Kings in 7, and that'll be a what if. That series is also on the channel. All of the series for Chicago are on the channel. 2014, Boston. They go to the final in 2013. They lose to Chicago in 6, as mentioned. 2014, they lose in the second round to Montreal, and I believe it was 7 games. And then they missed the playoffs. The only other team on here, I believe, the only other team after that missed the playoffs right after. Sorry about that again. I had to sneeze. So, yeah, they missed the playoffs. So the only other team besides the 2007 Sabres, so that missed the playoffs the year after. Boston would go into a little bit of a retool, and then 3 years later, they'd be back in the playoffs. 2015, the Rangers won the President's Trophy that year. 2014, they were in the final, and they lost to the Kings in 5. They were down 3-0. They won Game 4, similar to the Canucks. And then they lose to the Tampa Bay Lightning in the third round in 2015 in 7 games. Great series there. And then they lose in the first round to Pittsburgh the next year. So Rangers not able to get it done. They just go on a slow decline once they win the President's Trophy. 2016, that belonged to the Washington Capitals. The year before, they lost in the second round to the Rangers in 7. And then they lost in the second round in 2016 to the Penguins in 6. And then they lost in the second round to the Penguins in 7. And guess what? The next year, they're also there. They lost to the Penguins in 2016 in the second round in 6. They lost to the Penguins in that year. They won the President's Trophy in 7. And then they win the Cup in 2018 when no one thought they were going to do anything because the 2016 and 17. 2018, the Predators, Nashville, they win the President's Trophy. They go to the final in 2017 as a very big underdogs. They lose in 6 to the Pittsburgh Penguins. They would also lose to the team that won the Cup. So 1, 2, 3, they won it 4, 5, 6 teams on here that did that. Sorry about that. I had to sneeze again. A lot of allergy problems today. So so 6 teams have been eliminated by the team that ended up winning the Cup. And so now Nashville, they lose in the final 2017. 2018, they lose in the second round to Winnipeg in 7. Great series there. Excuse me. And then in 2019, they lose in the first round as they're upset by the Dallas Stars that year. And that's 2018. 2019, the big one. The Tampa Bay Lightning, 62 wins, 128 points. The year prior, they lost in the third round to Washington, who won the Cup. That was a 7-game series that they blew. And then they lose in the first round in a sweep to the Columbus Blue Jackets, the first team to ever win the President's Trophy, and get swept in the first round. And that's not from like the 1910s or 20s. And but then in 2020 and 2021, they ended up winning the Stanley Cup back-to-back years. So we can learn about this. You see, Cup here after losing, Cup here after losing. Cup here after losing. You need to know what it feels like to lose if you're ever going to figure out how to win. But and then there's some like the Kings who just don't, and then they just go straight to they went from okay, maybe they're, and then wee. But 2020, Boston, they win the President's Trophy that year. And they go to the final in 2019. They lose in 7 to St. Louis. And then they lose in the second round to Tampa in 2020. And then and that's at a 5-game series. And in 2021, they lose to the Islanders in 6 games. So Boston getting dethroned by the Islanders once again. Tampa, that's kind of their kryptonite. They just cannot seem to beat them. And yeah, 2021, the most recent Stanley Cup champion. So they lose in the second round in 2019 and 2020, where they lose to Dallas in 7 after coming back from 3-1 down, and their roster is completely destroyed. And then they're up 2-0 against Vegas in the second round in 2021, and Vegas wins the next 4. And then the next year, this year they win the Cup. And now you can realize all those second round exits they're probably made up for, and the sins have been forgiven. And then in 2021, Florida, the most recent President's Trophy winner, losing the first round in 2021, where they lost to Tampa. It was probably the worst draw that they could have had. Then in this year, they finally win a series since 1996. It's their first one. They beat Washington in 6, although they did look a bit shaky. And then they lose in the second round in a sweep to, once again, Tampa. And then, since next year hasn't happened yet, we don't know what they'll do next year, and that is not applicable. Now, I wrote down some statistics here. So, the year prior, zero times the team missed the playoffs the year prior. Twice they had lost in the first round prior, those being the 2013 Hawks and the 2022 Panthers. And they lost in the second round in the year prior 6 times. So that's San Jose here, Washington here, Vancouver here, Washington here, and Colorado here. They lose in the third round 3 times in the year prior. That would be the Tampa Bay Lightning of 2019. That is the Red Wings here and the Buffalo Sabres here. And 5 times in the final the year prior, which include Boston, the Rangers, Nashville, Vancouver here, and I think that's it. 1, 2. Oh yeah, Boston here as well. So yeah, and then zero times they won the Cup the year prior. And again, it's because they won the President's Trophy, then they clearly didn't miss the playoffs. So it's 0 misses for the year they did win the President's Trophy. 5 times they go out in the first round. And those are the 2006 Red Wings, 2009 Sharks, 2010 Capitals, 2012 Canucks, 2019 Lightning, and yeah, I believe that's it. They lose 8 times in the second round. So that would be 2020 Bruins, 2021 Avs, 2022 Panthers, 2014 Bruins, 2016, 2017 Capitals, 2018 Predators, and 2007 Sabres. And then they lose in the third round once, and that is the 2015 Rangers. They lose in the final once, and that is the 2011 Canucks. And they win the Cup twice, the 2008 and Red Wings and the 2013 Hawks. Now, the year after, teams missed the playoffs. Those are the Buffalo Sabres of 2007 and the 2014 Bruins. They lose in the first round 4 times. Those include the 2015 Rangers, the 2018 Predators, 2012 Canucks, and 2011 Canucks. They lose in the second round 3 times. 2020 Bruins, 2016 Capitals, and 2010 Capitals. They lose in the third round 3 times. So that would be the 2013 Blackhawks, the 2009 Sharks, and the 2006 Red Wings. And they lose in the final once, which would be the 2008 Red Wings, and they win the Cup 3 times. 2021 Avs, 2017 Capitals, and 2019 Lightning. So, yeah, what we can learn from this is that after you win the President's Trophy, you do one of 2 things. If you lose, when you lose and you win the President's Trophy, you either have 2 options. You either fall off completely, or you rebound and you keep pushing at it and you finally win. You have the Lightning, you have the Capitals, you have the Avalanche, who are key showers of that. And then you have teams that just completely just fall off the face of the earth, being the 2007 Sabres, 2014 Bruins. The Predators fell off pretty quickly after. They've still been in the playoffs every year, but they haven't done much at all. You also have I'm trying to think, the Canucks of 2012. They weren't good for much longer after that, and you could even pull them back to 2011. But yeah, tell me what you thought below of the President's Trophy. Do you think it's a curse? I don't think it's a curse. I think it's something that you just have to you just have to go in knowing that although there's going to be added pressure on you, you just need to figure out just how you were able to overcome that and how are you going to put a stamp that to really show you are the best. Like the 2008 Red Wings, like the 2013 Blackhawks. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching. What If Episode 1 Overtime Edition will be coming out tomorrow. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.